U.S. intelligence officials have determined Vladimir Putin is being misinformed by his advisors about Russia's military struggles in Ukraine. A U.S. official provided NBC News with declassified intelligence claiming there is persistent tension between Putin and his Ministry of Defense. That's because some senior advisors are, quote, too afraid to tell him the truth about Russia's failures in Ukraine. U.S. officials believe Putin has been getting incomplete or overly optimistic reports about the status of Russian troops, creating a mistrust between Putin and his military leaders. Officials told the New York Times the Russian leader seemed genuinely unaware that his military had been using conscripts in Ukraine and that drafted soldiers were among those killed in action. They say Putin's ignorance showed a clear breakdown in the flow of accurate information to the Russian president. Officials also said Putin had an incomplete understanding about how damaging Western sanctions had been on the Russian economy. Here's what some Biden administration officials had to say yesterday.
It understandably would be an issue of concern if for not just our European allies and partners, but certainly for Ukraine, if Mr. Putin is misinformed or uninformed about what's going on inside Ukraine. It's his military. It's his war. He chose it. And so the fact that he may not have all the context, that he may not fully understand the degree to which his forces are failing in Ukraine, that's a little discomforting.
One of the Achilles heels of autocracies is that you don't have people in those systems who speak truth to power or who have the ability to speak truth to power. And I think that is something that we're seeing in Russia.
Willie, so many things going on here. First of all, U.S. officials just telling the truth of how badly misinformed Vladimir Putin is. That's one. Two, of course, they're using psyops most likely on Putin because they've had somebody on the inside of Vladimir Putin's inner circle from the very beginning. Remember the lead up of the war, and Joe Biden suggested this. Lead up of the war, everybody kept saying Russia wasn't going in. And now the French intel officials, I mean, even Zelensky was saying they weren't going to go in. Biden kept saying he's going to invade. He's planning to invade. U.S. officials, we've called it every step of the way, and we've done something. This is extraordinary. So many extraordinary things have happened over the past month or so, but one of them is we are sharing our intel information, and now Vladimir Putin has to wake up in the West and read how ignorant he is about what's going on in his own war from our spokesman at the Pentagon, from our Secretary of State, from unnamed intel. I mean, this has got to be driving this guy absolutely crazy. He's in the dark. He's being lied to by his own people, and we're telling him about it.
Yeah, which only increases his isolation as he doesn't trust anyone around him anymore. We had Tom Donilon on last week, the former national security advisor to President Obama, and he used the term the disease of the autocrat, meaning a guy who's been in power for 20 years has only been told exactly what he wants to be told, whose circle has shrunk to the few people he trusts anymore, no longer hears the truth. And that's coming home to roost right now as he gets bad information, or as you point out, information from the United States, information from the UK, people who want to feed him the bad information to ruin his war effort. The head of the UK's intelligence agency says Russian troops are demoralized and disobeying orders. Jeremy Fleming, the director of Britain's electronic surveillance agency, spoke in Australia overnight about just how poorly the Russian invasion is going.
It increasingly looks like Putin has massively misjudged the situation. It's clear he's misjudged the resistance of the Ukrainian people. He underestimated the strength of the coalition his actions would galvanize. He underplayed the economic consequences of the sanctions regime. And he overestimated the abilities of his military to secure a rapid victory. We've seen Russian soldiers, short of weapons and morale, refusing to carry out orders, sabotaging their own equipment, and even accidentally shooting down their own aircraft. And even though we believe Putin's advisors are afraid to tell him the truth, what's going on and the extent of these misjudgments must be crystal clear to the regime.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.